Hello to this first reading lesson. It's going to be about finding the main idea, and these are the points we'll go through. First, we'll see what's the main idea. We'll try to define it, then where we can find it, what may help us find it, and what do we need to find the main idea in a passage, and then we'll deal with a sample question with its answers and the explanation. What is the main idea? It is the author's idea about a topic. It's always a complete sentence that includes both the topic and the author's idea about it. Finding the main idea is getting the gist of a passage. It answers the question, what is the passage about? Where can we find the main idea? We need to look for a general statement, and it is sometimes stated clearly towards the end of the first paragraph. As it may be, or it may be implied, and you'll have to guess it or deduce it. What then may help to find the main idea? There are helpful questions you may ask yourself. First, what's the author trying to say? Then, what is the message of this passage? And what's the author's controlling point? What do we need to find the main idea? We first need a valuable pre-reading activity that's called prediction. We need to take 30 seconds to look over the passage, noting title, headings, subheadings, pictures, captions, maps, or graphs. Secondly, we need to use the information from these to anticipate what will be read in the text and actively adjust comprehension while reading. Then, we need to read the introduction and the conclusion with the first sentence of each paragraph. As you read, ask yourself the guiding questions mentioned. For example, what's the author trying to say? The fourth point is to focus on the first paragraph, because the main idea is usually stated towards the end of the first paragraph. If you don't find it in the first paragraph, go directly to the final paragraph. Then read the first sentence of each paragraph. So far, what we need to do to find the main idea is to predict from any illustrations, any graphs, any pictures, subheadings, titles that are available. And then we need to read introduction, conclusion, the first sentence of each paragraph. Some other things might be helpful, like signal words. How can they be helpful? They call your attention to the text pattern, which is very important. They also function somewhat like traffic lights. Each signal calls your attention to something, and to something different, we should say. Here is an example where we can see the signal words. In paragraph 1, we will see the most. In paragraph 2, we will see another. And paragraph 3 will start with yet another. You can see the signal words here, highlighted in red, at the beginning of every paragraph. The most well-known of the octopus's defense mechanisms is its ability to squirt clouds of ink into the water. So the most here shows us one of the types of defense mechanisms of the octopus. Paragraph 2 starts with another, And the sentence says, another defense mechanism possessed by many octopi is the ability to change color, much like a chameleon. The third paragraph, yet another defense mechanism possessed by some octopi is the ability to perform an autonomy or self-amputation of one of their limbs and regrow it later. So we can obviously see here that we have 3 different types of defense mechanisms. They are ordered in the text according to their importance, and the signal words help us see that importance. Here is the passage from which these signal words have been taken. You can see the signal words at the beginning of every paragraph, but I wanted you also to see here all the parts that we used for the prediction skill. The introduction, the conclusion, and the first sentences or the topic sentences of each paragraph. That's paragraph 1, that's paragraph 2, and that's paragraph 3. These are essential to find the main idea. We need to go through these parts in order to get the overall message of the writer and in order to decide what the main idea should be. Now we'll pass to practice. Here is a sample question. Which of the following sentences from the passage best expresses the main idea? And that's how exam questions look like when they want you to find the main idea. The first sentence, or the first alternative in the question says, the most well-known of the octopus's defense mechanisms is its ability to squirt clouds of ink into the water. B, second option, says, some people say that the best defense is good offense. An octopus, however, would disagree. The third option, another defense mechanism possessed by many octopi is the ability to change color. And the final option is D, which says, when it wants to get away, the octopus has an impressive arsenal of tricks at its disposal. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Which one of these statements summarizes the text or shows the main idea of the passage? D is obviously the correct answer. We need to know why. The last sentence of paragraph 1, this is a statement. It says, when it wants to get away, the octopus has an impressive arsenal of tricks at its disposal. This statement shows that the author intends to discuss the arsenal of tricks the octopus uses to escape predators. So as we mentioned previously, the main idea is directly and explicitly stated toward the end of the first paragraph. This is confirmed by the organizational structure of the essay. Let's now have a look at the other options and check why they are not correct. Choice B is obviously incorrect because it tells about the topic of the passage with no indication of how the ideas are related. So it's only focusing on the topic, not the main idea, which is a small part of the main idea. Whereas choice A and C contain details that support the author's main idea, but they are not the main idea. Here's the passage you're going to go through. Don't get stuck if you see such a huge block of words, because you don't need to go through every single word. You just need to make a strategic reading. What do you mean by strategic reading? It means using all the strategies already mentioned. After the introduction, read the conclusion. We're dividing the passage. We're focusing on some helpful parts. Then we'll go through the topic sentence of paragraph 1, topic sentence of paragraph 2, and then topic sentence of paragraph 3. So you see, if you compare that amount of words to that huge block at the beginning, you'll find that it's nothing compared to it. So these parts will be enough for you to locate the main idea or to identify it. Why? Because usually writers mention the topic of their passages at the very beginning, sometimes from the very first sentence of the paragraph, of the introduction. Therefore, once you manage to identify the topic, it will be very helpful for you to find the main idea, because it's going to work as a guiding part for you. Also remember that you are going to refer to some signal words. Remember the traffic words, traffic lights. They will signal important information, important ideas for you. They will guide you to find the main idea. So if you just use that strategy, you'll manage to find your main idea easily without going into every single word of the passage and without being frustrated at all. Let's now read together and try to find the main idea. But we are not actually going to read the whole passage. Remember, we are going to practice the strategy. We are going to start with the introduction. Some people say that the best defense is a good offense. Here is the thesis statement. This statement obviously shows the topic of the text. So from the beginning, as you first step in the passage and start reading, you discover the topic. This is very reassuring, despite that huge block of words that you have. So some people say that the best defense is a good offense. An octopus, however, would disagree. In addition to being one of the strangest and most beautiful creatures in nature, the octopus has some of the most inventive and effective defense mechanisms imaginable. While other animals have teeth, horns, or claws to help defend them from predators, the octopus concentrates its energy on hiding from and confusing its attackers. All these are arguments backing the topic. When it wants to get away, it refers to octopus. The octopus has an impressive arsenal of tricks at its disposal. This very last sentence of the introduction explicitly states the main idea for us and takes us back to the first statement of the introduction, that is the topic. Some people say that the best defense is a good offense. An octopus, however, would disagree. Linking this statement to the last statement of the introduction, we find, or it answers, how does the octopus disagree? It shows its impressive arsenal of tricks at its disposal. So obviously, it's very easy to find the main idea from the very first part. Now, if you are not sure this is the main idea, you can proceed to read the conclusion and the topic sentences. Let's read the conclusion, which links directly to the introduction. While the octopus may not be the most vicious creature in the ocean, its numerous and clever defense mechanisms help it to survive in the dangerous undersea water. So you obviously see that the conclusion is reinforcing the main idea that you've picked from the introduction. If we go through the topic sentences of the paragraphs, we'll find that the main idea is reinforced again and again, but through sub-ideas. The topic sentence of paragraph 1 says, the most well-known of the octopus's defense mechanisms is its ability to squirt clouds of ink into the water. So now we have one of the mechanisms, or the most important one. The topic sentence of paragraph 2 starts with another. Notice here the traffic lights, the signal words. Another defense mechanism possessed by many octopi is the ability to change color, much like a chameleon. What does this topic sentence provide us with? Another a second type of mechanism. Let's move on to paragraph 3. Topic sentence of paragraph 3 starts with another traffic light. Yet another defense mechanism possessed by some octopi is the ability to perform an autonomy or self-amputation of one of their limbs and regrow it later. So we have signal words, the most well-known defense mechanism, another defense mechanism, yet another defense mechanism. Not only is the main idea reinforced here, but also we have the pattern of the passage very clearly divided in front of us. We can see it, how many parts there are, how many sub-ideas there are. Just from the first reading, remember, we haven't read every single word. We've just focused on the introduction, the conclusion, and the topic sentences of paragraphs. Finally, I hope that you follow the strategy. Remember, it is a golden strategy in order to find the main idea. It's very helpful in exams, very helpful in your daily readings, especially when you deal with long passages, such long passages as the one we had as an example here. Now, when you go through the strategy, you guarantee that you're on the right track, you're reading right, and you're going to get the main idea from your first reading. Because in exams, and especially in exams, time is very important. So if you manage to get your main idea from the first reading, it means that you'll save time for the rest of the questions that will cover the specific details. The strategy, just as a reminder, goes through prediction skills. You need to predict, to anticipate the content of the passage from any illustrations around the passage, whether pictures, diagrams, charts, headings, subheadings. Then it also covers the main idea, the introduction, conclusion, and topic sentences. And don't forget the signal words, which are very important. Signal words are very important to make you all the time on the right track. That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for your attention, and see you with another skill, another reading skill.